Time for us to say that it's important for you to be aware of what's going on in our world, and when it comes to matters relating laws in our country and the more than 2 year period that we've just been through with regard to the state of disaster and that coming to an end. It's why we are now joined via StreamYard to Michael Swain. Good morning, Michael, Executive Director of 4SA. How are you doing, sir?
Good morning, Jonathan, and good morning to your listeners. Great to be on the show.
Thank you so much for your time. So, Michael, we have spoken about it, but this is something so important that we just said we need to talk about it again. And I've got a couple of new questions for you. But just quickly, before we get to my questions, let's run through what is happening. What are these proposed draft amendments to the health bill?
Well, I think you said lockdown's coming to an end.
Okay.
The answer
we
is
to have a glitch with our.
Are you
Ladies
there?
and gentlemen, hi. Yes, we're there again. Sorry about that, Michael.
Sorry, Jonathan. No, you said that lockdown is coming to an end, and you'd like to think that was the truth. But in fact, what is actually happening is that we have had an interim measure, an interim batch of regulations, which the minister passed right at the end of the state of national disaster, which gives her 30 days until the 4th of May to basically carry on lockdown in the way that she wants to. And then the idea is, I think, to switch to these draft health regulations, which basically give the potential for lockdown forever. We can be literally pushed back right into the same state that we've lived in at the worst of the last 2 years. And all the Minister of Health has to do is to declare any disease, regardless of its severity, as a notifiable medical condition. And he can effectively take control of every aspect of our lives. So that is the situation that we are facing. But I would want to say this right up front, and that is that we do have the opportunity to comment, but the comment is only open until this coming Friday, the 15th of April. So we really want to say to every single person listening to the show, do what you need to do. Make your voice heard. The best way to do that is to get onto the forsa.org.za website, and you can click a link straight through, or you can download your own email submission. You can get a text document. But whatever you do, make your voice heard, because if we do not literally raise our voices, and that means every submission counts, every single person should be taking this literally 2-3 minutes of your life to make your voice heard in this matter. Because if not, then we face the absolute certainty that these regulations will come into effect. And when they do, literally every area of our lives will again be able to be controlled by government, by an unaccountable executive, I should say, not just by Parliament, because this requires no parliamentary process, but by an unaccountable executive. And we will be ruled in the same way that we've been ruled for these past 2 years.
It's absolutely scary. And I've been speaking to various people from various countries, Australia, United Kingdom, the United States of America, and they have often said that they've looked at our country and the measures that were taken in the last 2.5 years and said some of those measures were absolutely absurd. But in any case, we are South Africans, we are tough, we're thick-skinned, and we continue to do what we need to do. But in and through this, it's so important that each of us does make our voice heard. And I just quickly checked on the counter to see how many people have actually gone and made their objections. We're sitting at 207,775, and we want to get to 1 million, but time is running out. It closes on the 16th of April, so you've only got today, tomorrow, and Friday to register. So we really need to be quick with regard to that. But one of the typical questions that I hear a lot of people saying is, oh, but Jonathan, my little voice, is it really going to make a difference?
Well, the answer to that question is yes, every voice makes a difference. Imagine that your voice is like a volume button, and one voice would be like a tiny, faint whisper. But once you get to sort of 200,000, which we are already, and who knows, there are many more people who are emailing in directly, and we know that there are also submissions that are being delivered. So as soon as you get that number...
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we are having some internet issues from our studio side. Sorry, we lost you there. Many people that are emailing directly.
Many people that are emailing directly are basically also having their voice heard. And government, according to its own laws, the laws of this country, the laws which the Constitutional Court has confirmed, must consider every single submission. And if they do not, then they are in breach of administrative justice laws. And that means that potentially this whole set of regulations can be set aside. So, yes, every voice counts, because clearly, once we get into the hundreds of thousands, government can't just go ahead and say, well, we've listened to the people and now we're just going to go ahead. No, they will have to demonstrably show that they have not only listened to the people, but they have also paid attention to what the people said. And people don't want this. Nobody wants an unaccountable executive ruling this country effectively by just simply making up whatever regulations they want, whenever they want, about whatever they want. I mean, let's remember, by the way, that under the lockdown level 5, we couldn't go to the shops. We were told what we could and could not buy. We were told when we had to be in our houses. When we could go to the beach or not. How far we could drive from our houses. I mean, this is micromanaging lives, and every aspect of our civil rights, our civil liberties, was effectively taken away and enforced. By the way, I mean, something like 450,000 plus people were arrested under those lockdown levels. That means that people potentially, all those people, have criminal records for being like 3 minutes late back to your house after 9 o'clock and other such important criminal activities. I'm being facetious here. So we need to be aware that this is the type of government that this government wants to be able to bring into play at any time it chooses. And I believe that as a citizen of this country, this is absolutely not the democracy that we were welcoming and that we were celebrating in 1994. This is about as opposite as you can get. There's no parliamentary accountability. It seems that the judges, the judiciary, our court system is extremely slow to intervene in these matters. And so we literally are facing the possibility of being ruled by an unaccountable elite executive for the foreseeable future, for simply having a notifiable medical condition listed by the minister. And let me say this, by the way, it doesn't just extend to that. Treatment is one of the issues, because there is no definition, for example, in these regulations of what amounts to a pandemic, what amounts to something that is endemic. All the minister has to discover or to look at is the transmissibility of a disease. And then if you are suspected even of having a notifiable medical condition, then government can compel you to do all sorts of things. Isolation. You can be quarantined in a state facility against your will, by the way, for as long as government chooses. You can have whatever treatment government may prescribe, and that could well include mandatory vaccinations, compulsory vaccinations. And COVID-19, of course, is one of these notifiable medical conditions. So, this could effectively bring in vaccination mandates through the back door.
Absolutely crazy. Michael Swain, Executive Director for Freedom of Religion South Africa, thank you for your time this morning. It is so important. 4 days and counting, ladies and gentlemen. That's all we have until the window of opportunity for us to make our voices heard closes. So please go to 4sa.org.za. You'll click on a link there, and there very quickly you can submit your objection and add to the many voices that have already been heard. We are on 207,000, and we are trusting for many, many more people to make their voices heard. It is such an important time and such an important thing that we need to get out there. Michael, thank you for your time, and we wish you and the rest of the team all the best.
Thank you, Jonathan. God bless.
God bless you too.